The Free to Be Show is sponsored by Replenish Me membership. Show up powerfully. This hybrid online community offers monthly webinars, meetups, and coaching sessions so that you have access to Replenish online. Whether you are seeking something as an individual to relieve your stress or as an organization, a way to resolve team issues and recharge your staff, Replenish Me membership offers it all. Empower yourself today. To find out more about Replenish Me membership, go to bit.ly/Replenish Me membership. And now for the Free to Be Show. Good evening and welcome to the Free to Be Show, where I get to interview people who are so dynamic and they lean into their deepest and darkest emotions to show up powerfully and impact the world. Tonight is no different. I have a wonderful woman who I actually very much admire, and I've been following her and came to find out she's been following me for quite some time. Our paths intersected earlier this year as we were in a summit together. And like me, she's a mother and she's all about empowering women. It's my pleasure to introduce you to Devina Kaur, who is a fun-loving, flamboyant, straight-talking author, entrepreneur, filmmaker, researcher, and inspirational speaker. She was born and raised in rural India, and she fought to reconcile her traditional upbringing with her ambitions. After a lifetime of being told she was too fat, too loud, too ambitious, her world fell apart when she was in her 30s after her arranged marriage ended. 30 years of desperately trying to be the person everyone else wanted had resulted in loneliness, depression, and confusion. As you can see, we can definitely relate to her story. And tonight, we're just going to have a really open conversation about how she freed herself and really dove into radical self-acceptance. So welcome to the show, Devina.
Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. It's wonderful to be here. Thank you, Cordelia.
Absolute pleasure. Yeah, I know, like I read a snippet of your bio, but the story is always so much more exciting directly from your mouth. So really, like, in all those things, what was it that you were trying to free yourself from, really?
So, you know, I, I come from a very, very conservative Punjabi family. I grew up in India, and even as I'm talking about it, I'm getting so emotional. And, for us as women, especially as women, our worth is measured by the size we are, by our relationship status. We were expected to become like these high professionals, but our main primary mission in life is a relationship, a husband, the family. And all of that is great. But at the same time, we go through so much education, but we forget our ambitious side. So in my case, I had the same thing. I did everything. I was doing very well. I had all this outside success, but inside I was so empty. I was like, I would come home from the office at the bank and I would be like, I just want to kill myself. I would wake up in the middle of the night and have cold sweats. And I was like, what am I doing? How come I'm so happy? I'm making so much money, but what is it like so it wasn't like coming together. Like there was something that was missing and I didn't know what it was. So as I was going through these things at the office, I was also struggling in my marriage. And eventually, I became a full-time single mother, divorced. And that's another label that a culture, even today in North America and other parts of the world, it's like, you're divorced. Oh my goodness, there must be something wrong with you. So we have all these labels, and then we lose ourselves. And I would say, especially women, it happens to men too, and people of other genders as well. But as women, like we are stopped from being ourselves. And I know, Cordelia, you use the word unapologetic as well. So that's one of the terms. I was like, why do I have to stop myself from laughing? Because my parents told me that you're too loud, stop laughing, or you're too fat because if you're fat, you're not worthy of love, or because if you're too ambitious, you're never going to get anywhere in life. So all these labels that are part of our subconscious programming, our programming because of who we are, our culture, our association with our family, our school, it's all something that we're programmed to, and we also end up programming our kids like that too, right? So that's where it started. And then for me, as I was going through the divorce, I ended up quitting my job, and I became a full-time dog walker. I was like, I don't want to be in this high investment banking career where it's feeling empty. So becoming a dog walker was also a way to being a rebel, and was to say, you know what, about I want to do to make myself happy. So just by saying that was the first decision to move on to the next step. And something that happened while I was walking dogs for a living was I fell into an addiction, a love/dating addiction. And that's where the term sexy brilliant comes from. And you know what? It didn't matter how fat I was. It didn't matter that I had just $5 to feed my family, zero food in the fridge, like completely lost. I would come back home from work, from walking dogs. I would look at the mirror and I would say, always sexy, always brilliant. And the words that I would say to myself became my reality. And really, that is where the Sexy Brilliant Nonprofit Foundation started. And that's where the idea of a book happened. And right now, like, it's been 4 years and I've been doing this for full time. I have a radio show. I have all of this, this wonderful success from the outside, but sometimes, often, I still feel very empty. So there's a constant, you have to unlearn and constantly let go of your own patterns and programming to heal and to get to your next level of perfection and to live unapologetically. So that's where it started for me.
Super powerful. Wow. So you were trying to free yourself from labels. Still, you're in that evolution of freeing yourself from labels.
Yeah, and even today, like I'm, the other day I just actually came back from a month at an ashram, at a yoga ashram, and I had a great high there. And then, of course, as soon as you get out of there, you have a low. And I had a huge low. So, in fact, it was so bad that I was like, I want to kill myself. So, these are such extreme emotions that, if me as an adult, I'm going through this, I wonder what our kids are going through too. So, a lot of it is, of course, the energy outside, but part of it is also working through our old memories. I would say perhaps it's the past life memories that show up at the least expected times. But when I had this thought about killing myself, I recognized it and I called my therapist and I was like, Dr. Jenny, what is happening? Like, why am I going through this? Like, this is not normal. I have everything, yet why do I want to go through this? So these are, it's the awareness, the self that helps us get out of our own way.
But I'm also hearing you say, like, each level has its own devil, right? So, like, as you are evolving and going through this transformation, you have that dip. And like, what I practice in the TIB transformation, and which I roll into my Replenish Me, is we say that as you reach a new level, like it's literally a spiritual level that you're approaching whenever you feel that instability in your emotions. So that is a very, like, it looks like you are leveling up.
Oh my God, it's constant, it's extreme. And the thing is, what when I was going through this, I mentioned I spoke to my therapist, and my therapist, like, so she helped me work through these issues. And in life, we always need professional support, right? Whether that's a coach, that's your therapist, that's a professional support group, or whatever you have. Replenish Me program is another one. So, like, she's like, you mean you want to kill the pain that's so extreme? And I was like, yes, that's it. That's the pain that's
Nice.
hurtful. And, and just to be able to recognize that I don't want to kill all parts of myself. I just want to kill that part that's so hurtful, so painful, to look at the mirror and to kind of accept myself. So in life, it's all about, like, we're going to have all these ups and we're going to have all these downs and all these emotions, leveling up, leveling down. Transformation is lifelong, right? Learning is lifelong, and growth is lifelong too. But we constantly have to love ourselves through this, practice radical self-acceptance. In a world that tells us you're never enough, we have to get out of our own way.
And I like the other point you made about our words creating our reality. That's so important. You know, I was reading one of your articles, like that's part of what I do. I have to research my guests. But, it was like you were really talking about that in quite a bit of detail, how, you had to choose to only use certain words, just to keep the reality that you really desired.
Yeah, and just like I mentioned earlier, that I fell into this love slash dating addiction. So what happened is, I was a full-time single mother, and I had never really been in this dating world, and it was new to me. So every time I would, and this was, a lot of it was just virtual texting and like, connections. I was lonely, I was depressed, and I was looking for somebody from the outside to save me. So that's where it was. And I remember every time somebody would message me and that would be, "How are you?" I'd always reply back by saying, "Always sexy, always brilliant." And I didn't realize that that would become my reality. That sexy, brilliant, two words that you're saying that are not acceptable, especially when you come from a culture like, India, and even here in North America. It's like something like, um,
Taboo.
yeah, like the word sexy or the word sex is a taboo too. So we don't realize that, no part of us is our own enemy. So whether that's the ambitious side, whether that's the spiritual side, whether that's the sexual side, whether that's the feminine side, all parts of ourselves are the same whole. So when we know who we are, when we practice radical self-acceptance, then we can not only accept our good part, we can also accept our dark side. And that's how we show up to be whole and complete. And I often say sexy brilliant, because that's a sexy
That's
brilliant is, you know.
That's you whole and complete. You know what? I love that. We're going to come back, and in this next segment, we're going to talk all about sexy brilliant and what that truly means. We'll be right back. Replenish me. When I say that, what comes up for you? And when's the last time that you've done that? And where do you feel that in your body? Well, this is my invitation to you to explore the 4 steps of my Replenish Me program, where women learn how to release, restructure, refresh, and rebirth, showing up in the world being true to yourself, only choosing words that honor your values, and only allowing behaviors and people in your life who do the same. Connect with me by reaching out at bit.ly/replenish with love and explore Replenish Me. And now for tonight's show.
Okay.
All right, so now we're back. I'm really excited to dive into the meaning of sexy brilliant, and really how you help women to be free with this message. I want to, can I first share with you like my impression when I first saw it on
Yes, please.
LinkedIn, no less. I was like, sexy brilliant on LinkedIn. Who is this person? She's like wild and crazy. I like her. Yeah. Um, and I thought, yes, like there's no, it's almost like society doesn't give women the permission to use the word sexy, although we're objectified and seen as sexy, right? But we
Sexual
can't
object.
say I'm sexy, right?
Yeah.
What's that about? Right? It's okay for if you just knocked off the sexy and said I'm brilliant, that's kind of cool depending on what country you live in. But like the sexy brilliant together, oof, girl, who are you? So tell me some of the things you've encountered.
Oh my gosh. So first of all, like sexy, there's the physical part. We look at people and women and men and people of other genders, and we're like, so that's sexy. But sexy is so much bigger. For me, sexy is about being daring. It's about saying, you know what? I dare to quit my job, or I dare to, end my marriage, or I dare to have a child without marriage, whatever it is. Because we, as we're going through, we're going through the struggle between the divine feminine and the sacred masculine, and we women are lost, right? Like we've got our ambitious side going, which is the sacred masculine, but and I talk about myself here, is I've lost my feminine side.
Mhm.
So, so we're always looking for that balance. We're always looking up for that, like you said, the leveling up, right? And and for me, sexy is about, it doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter that I don't have a boyfriend. I'm fat, I'm loud, I'm ambitious, or I have zero money, or that I've had mental health issues, or I'm a single parent. Sexy to me is owning who I am and being all of myself in my sexuality, my spirituality, my brilliant, my intelligent side, my business side, my feminine side, I don't know if you can see the plants next to me. I'm a plant person. It's owning up to who you are. I used to be a full-time dog walker, and yet I was like, it doesn't matter. The money is not who I am, and a lot of women can relate to that. And you know what? We women have this other gift, is where we are very emotional. Most women, I wouldn't say all women, I would say most women, and of course there are men who are emotional as well. But then along come along come men, and they're like, you're too emotional. You are taking business decisions based on your emotions. And then I look at that and I'm like, yeah, but first of all, I know who I am. I know what I like. I know how I work, right? So I'm like, don't you tell me that I'm too emotional. I'm like, you're too logical.
Well,
So it's
no,
about, like, go ahead.
I mean, like, I'm sorry, I have to just interject because, like, men get angry in the boardroom, and when they yell and cuss, they're getting emotional, but that's okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But they're it's a different strategy, right? Like the power play is very different as well. Thankfully, we've got, like, everything's happening virtually right now, so we're all kind of like in our little bubbles, managing homes and our children, and kind of losing it a little bit too. But ultimately, we have to decide, what does sexy mean to us. If we're gonna make sexuality a taboo, then got to start questioning our own existence, right? Because there's a reason that we're all here. So first of all, the part of the mission here is not just to accept our intelligent side with sexy brilliant, but it's also to accept our sexy side, our sexuality, our daring side. I mean, I wrote a book called Too Fat, Too Loud, Too Ambitious. So it's to accept all of our wholeness in who we are and live unapologetically.
And right, like you said, we're complete in that. Our sexiness is, it's the complete person that we are. And I would even go a step further to say that the sexy side, because for me, I say that our emotions are just a manifestation or a bridge between our physical and our spiritual self. So, and for me, sexuality is a very spiritual expression. and
Yes,
and
yes.
people, they think, oh, what do you mean, like Kama Sutra? No, I mean, but seriously, I mean, let's talk about Kama Sutra for a minute,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that. It is like an alignment of the chakras, and
Yes.
aligning with your partner. And that's the way sex was always meant to be. How can you procreate without pulling the other side in? Where do you think the souls come from?
Yeah.
you know?
Well, yeah, and I just wanna mention something here. You know, the female sexuality has been made to be this dirty thing where you're like, like sex is a bad thing, or sex beyond, not within, if you were having sex without marriage is like, is horrible, you're a slut, and all of that. And we get that, like my mother still talks about that, right? I just had a conversation with my mother, and she's like, make sure your daughter is not having sex. I'm like, you know what, like, I wanted to tell her that it's okay if she wants to have sex, like, so these are things that our parents have been programmed and conditioned in such a way that they still have this belief that sex is bad, or sex is between two in a married couple, or whatever it is. In fact, that's the ideal thing. We all want to, in a spiritual sense, we want to have a monogamous relationship with our partner, and that's perfect. But at the same time, we also have to look at the reality that we're in. I'm single, and I've been single for as long as I can remember. So, we all have these different experiences. Some of us can be married and still not have any sexual relationships. Everybody's situation is different. But what we want to start doing is have conversations about it. We want to have conversations about who we are, whether that's mental health, whether that's, being broke and being like almost homeless, right? So I've been there, and I know how hard that is. But also, like, to say that I'm single and I'm dating, or I'm not dating, or I'm choosing to date myself, like I am right now. So we kind of have to remove that shame from Kama Sutra, sexuality. Sexuality is a spiritual thing. It's a beautiful thing. It's a gift for us. And, when we are with a partner, that's a gift that we're giving each other.
And
So,
yeah. And when we're not with a partner, that is our opportunity to channel it into something beautiful and creative,
yes.
like what you're doing now with your message.
Yeah. I mean, so, I mean, I don't know if I have to say this, but I have a high energy. And often that's said, you have a high sexual energy. Your sexual energy is also your creative energy. And it's by being so relentless, just saying that, what, forget dating or forget a relationship, which again is perhaps the feminine side, like I mentioned earlier. I'm going to stay focused on creating Sexy Brilliant, so it's a choice we're making. Sometimes life makes these choices for us, but oftentimes we're like so relentless, right? Like, um, choosing who you are, accepting who you are, no matter how what other labels there are.
Yeah. And I
Yeah,
dare say that sexy brilliant is not a label, it's a state of being.
I love that. I love you. Yeah, and that's I'm so glad you said that. It's like, I just got, somebody made a comment, and said on YouTube, and said, I did a video, and they're like, oh, you're trying to be a philosopher. You're not a philosopher. And I think you spoke about that, Cordelia. We had this discussion on Facebook about this. And for me, Sexy Brilliant is a philosophy, right? So for me, first of all, we're a nonprofit foundation to remove toxic shame. That it's a social mission, and it's not, we're here to give back. I'm here to give back. That's my mission. But also, when people come and judge you, and they kind of come and mock you, literally bully you, you start like looking within. Sometimes you have these doubts too, and of course, even me, even after all of the success, like once, if let's say, I'm in a things are not going so good in my day, and I get like 10 vile comments about my body, my boobs, or sexy and sexy brilliant, or even a message that says, let's go have sex. And I just, it freaks me out, right? Sometimes. And then I'm like, oh my God, like, why am I doing this? Who am I? Who are these guys? So it's a constant cleansing that we have to go through.
Yeah.
And none of us have it figured out. Like, we are all going through this, and it's just, accepting that, like, I'm working my mission. That's what I'm doing. So I'm like, You know, it's like you just have to be unapologetic and just kind of like live it on purpose and like you said, to replenish yourself all the time. So it's
Definitely
yeah.
pouring back in, always. And
What, sorry, what did
first,
you say?
I said pouring back in always.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And when we have, you know, when our own um, when we have enough love for ourselves, we can then share it with others, including our animals, our plants, our children, partners, our house. You know, like you want to look at everything in as love, right? Like in a spiritual sense. So Brahman is everywhere. So it's we're all going through this. It's a process, and right now with quarantine and COVID, it's like another lesson in life, right?
We're
The
always gifted
unknown,
an
and
opportunity.
this is an opportunity. It's been such a wonderful opportunity in many ways. As scary as it has been, it's still a wonderful chance to connect to yourself and accept you for who you are.
I do wonder something though. You mentioned a little bit about, you getting in lewd inboxes from men. Like how weird is it or hard is it for someone like you to date? Because I mean, it's not like you're a secret, you know?
Oh, you know what? It's really hard actually. It's it's um it's been interesting. So there's two parts to it, right? Like first you run Sexy Brilliant, and then men men and sorry ladies, I'm straight so far. You never know in the future though, right? But you know, men get there's a I can't say it, like there's a curiosity about Sexy Brilliant, and that's beautiful, and you know everybody's welcome to use it. So I have a lot of you know, the Sexy Brilliant is open for men, women, people of all genders, and everybody's welcome to check us out, sexybrilliant.com. But dating is harder with Sexy Brilliant, so I've tried to go like I did one of those anonymous dating profiles with just DK as my name and nothing else, right? Like no pictures of Sexy Brilliant, nothing. But then it was like, you know, it was kind of very boring. I was hiding who I was, and I was just not connecting with people. And I was like, well, this is kind of like, you know. So then I had to say to myself that, you know, when you meet, and I won't say if, I'll say when you're supposed to connect to somebody, they're going to accept you for who you are. You're, you know, half brown hair, half white hair, half yellow hair, you know, wearing a hijab like you are, Cordelia, or with Sexy Brilliant, or, you know, and it's the same thing with us women as well. When we are out in the dating field, we also have to accept our men as who they are in all of their authenticity, in vulnerability, giving them safe space to be vulnerable, to be emotional, to accept them for who they are. And you know, in reverse, we're going to get that back from our men as well. So
This is such an important point about, not only you're being who you want to attract, right? And then radiating that.
yes, and it's constant work, right? It's constant self-care, self-development. You know, whether that is like I've mentioned this before, working with professionals is a huge part of our growth as well. And I've for like as long as I've known I've had professionals helping me, therapists, coaches, divorce coach. You know, just the one thing that I didn't have was childbirth coach, and I regret that. So
Yeah, those are useful.
yeah. So you know, like we need that support system. So don't hesitate to reach out for support, whether that's just making a social media post, but also, you know, if you have the capacity, if you have the opportunity to help somebody else, do it freely. And one of the things that I always ask of my audience is to share this video, you know, to share, to find us on social media, or to send us a message on sexybrilliant.com in my case, and to Cordelia, and to say, you know what, we saw your show and we really liked it, or share it with your mom, your sister, your brother, whatever. It's about giving back, and we all are constantly in charge of changing our karma, our karmic debt.
I agree. Well, we'll be right back with Devina's closing wisdom. So,
Thank you.
all right. So, tell us about this generous giveaway of yours.
So, I've written this book called Too Fat, Too Loud, Too Ambitious, and I'm best described as an accidental author because I started writing this book 3 years ago, and English is not my first language. Yet here I am. I've written a book and I can't believe it. But I also did it with the help of a lot of people. So because I've had so many people help me in my journey, I want to use this opportunity to share this gift with anybody who's interested in writing, in reading a self-help book called Too Fat, Too Loud, Too Ambitious. All you have to do is share this video, tag Cordelia, tag me, the Devina Kaur, and let us know that you found this, and it'll be my pleasure to sign it and to send it to you wherever you are in the world. I wanted to come on the camera, right?
Yeah. Look, we're back. Yes, we're going to share Devina's wisdom, but first, let's meet her cat.
Yeah.
Hello, Fluffy. Oh my goodness. Aren't you precious?
He's so precious and so popular. And he's a rescue cat, and you know, it's like he woke up from his nap and he's like, I want to go outside for a walk now.
Ooh.
So it's great to have animals. They're so healing and so therapeutic.
They really are.
Yeah.
So, you know what would be great is if you could read like a couple of pages from your book. Would you be open to that?
Oh, definitely.
Thank you. Oh, there it is.
I have it. I just picked it up. Okay, let's see. I just got my my books, and you know, from copies of my book, I should say that. Okay, so this is I don't know if you can see this. It says funny, heartfelt, and X-rated. So it's a little bit.
Oh my goodness. So, you know, I saw that the other day you had posted something about men do you like X-rated books, and I was like, okay, look, she's going to be on my show. I don't know what she's going to read, but okay.
Well, it's X-rated in the sense that we talk about sexuality, you know, we're not going into graphics or something, but it's, you know, we want us women to be empowered in all of our wholeness, not just bits and parts, not just, you know, the mom side or the feminine side, but also our ambitious side, our spiritual side. Our sexuality is a part of us, right? So that's why we wanted to have that, and that's why, you know, the book is called Too Fat, Too Loud, Too Ambitious, and it's the first time I'm doing this on camera, so let's see. Okay, so this is from chapter 5, which is about self-knowledge, and it's beautiful. The sexy brilliant philosophy teaches us how to work through layers and layers of self-searching to know yourself inside and out. Feeling sexy is empowering, and it comes from who you truly are deep down. Feeling brilliant is exploring all the possibilities with which life has gifted you. Not doing so is living a death sentence. I talk about mental health issues here, so I know we've spoken about that, and I write about the death of Robin Williams, and I say, you know, from the outside, it's easy to make assumptions about their happiness based on their celebrity status and commercial success, but yet I believe their decision to end their lives came from having long denied a part of themselves they were no longer able to reach and heal. So the pain was too great to try to continue through this maze of life any further. May they rest in peace. So, you know, it's it's a beautiful book that, and we've got exercises here. So if ever, Cordelia, you're, we'll do, let's do a promo about the book on the side. Let me give away a book for free to your audience. How's that?
Oh, thank you. You're super
Yeah,
generous. I
it
just love
comes from
you.
being sexy and brilliant.
Of course it does. Of course it does.
Yeah, so it would be my honor to, guys, if you're looking to get the book Too Fat, Too Loud, Too Ambitious, you can check us out on sexybrilliant.com. We are a registered nonprofit to remove toxic shame, and the book is, of course, available on stores as well as online.
Beautiful. All right. Well, let's close out the show and then we'll get into the giveaway bit. So
Yeah,
thank you
I'm
so
holding up.
much for reading from self-knowledge. That is like very key and so overlooked. It's just been just beautiful and amazing, empowering personally to have you on today.
So much.
And I appreciate you deeply. So
Oh, thank you. I
take
feel the
us.
same, Cordelia.
Hmm.
Thank you so much. And I want to say thank you to everybody who's here. Thank you so much for being part of Cordelia's life and now my life as well. And if there's anything that I can do to serve you, it would be my pleasure and my honor. You can check out my personal development courses on sexybrilliant.org. We've got courses on money. We've got courses on body positivity, as well as being single, the power of being single. And of course, you can also read the book, Too Fat, Too Loud, Too Ambitious. And all your purchases and donations help us run Sexy Brilliant Nonprofit Foundation. So thank you so much in advance, and look forward to hearing from you. If you've found me through Cordelia or through one of my messages, let us know. We really, really appreciate all feedback as well as comments and questions.
Absolutely. And, you know, like Devina said, for those of you who are listening and watching tonight, you've gained benefit for yourself. So sharing is loving. Share this with another heart. Share this with another soul. Thank you and good night.